I started writing after we moved from Indiana and graduate school at Notre Dame to Long Island and Long Island University. My wife taught in a high school in the Manhasset Public School system. And it was at the end of the first semester and the beginning of the second semester, so that was January of 1971, poems started to come. And I had given up on that happening. I wanted it to happen, and I just didn't think it would happen. And I told an English major friend of mine at St. Joseph's College, if I'd only move east, I bet I'd start writing, thinking I'd have something worthwhile to write about. Well, I was right, but for the wrong reasons. I moved to the East Coast and I started to write. And what did I write about? My Midwestern origins, my background, my Southern Indiana, German heritage. I would say that probably 75% of the poems I've written have been set in Indiana and deal with Indiana people and places and flora and fauna and memories and associations. I also write, I have a book of poems set on Long Island where we raised our children. I have a book and a half of poems set in Germany where my ancestors came from. But the deepest source has remained Indiana, Southern Indiana. But I've lived in Southern Indiana, and I went to college and graduate school for 9 years in Northern Indiana. And now I've lived here in Central Indiana for 10 years. So I can cover some ground now. I was worried that when I came back I would be too close to my material and it would sort of dry up, because distance can help you appreciate what you had, you know. And I was aware of that, going back and forth between Long Island and Indiana, Southern Indiana, and then Central Indiana. I've been back 10 years, and I think I've published 8 books and 1 CD in that period of time. That's incredible. It got richer. Instead of having to worry about it, it sort of exploded for me, you know. So that's a great blessing, and I'm grateful for it. It's not a genre that has a huge following in the United States. It's more popular in some other countries, in Russia, let's say, and some of the Middle Eastern countries, and in Latin America. But there is a loyal, passionate following here, and there's a really strong poetry circle, so that the people who love it really love it, and they appreciate what you're doing, and that gives you that sense of satisfaction I was talking about. And you need a sense of community as a poet, because the audience is not huge, as I said. And when you have that sense of community and other fellow appreciators of what you do and have this love of poetry, it gives you encouragement, and it's sustenance, and you need sustenance. Yeah. And a $7,500 award for poetry, man, that's big time stuff. There have been 19 awards given, and this was only the second given to a poet. So I'm very pleased, and that's why I made the remark about, please, let's allow more of our fine poets into the Hall of Literature here. And I hope people will listen to that, because I learned as Indiana Poet Laureate that there are many fine poets all around Indiana. An award like the Glick Indiana Authors Award is not something that you have any right to expect, but when it comes, it's a great surprise, and it's full of wonder, and it's full of gives you satisfaction and a sense of achievement and a sense of affirmation. It's all of those in one, rolled into one. It's great. Now, after 5 years finished and the Glicks renewed their support of it, I can just feel a tradition building, and I think it's going to be very important to young writers who come after us, and to the public, the reading public also, because they need to know what a good tradition of literature we have here. And this series does as much as anything, if not more, to make that clear to everybody. I think that's really important.